I love barbecue pork steamed buns. They are the most delicious things. Now what I'm going to do is use my Magimix Cook Expert to make all the work really, really easy. Now to start with, I've got 400 grams of plain flour and I'll pour that into the Magimix bowl. Now to that, I'll put in my water and my yeast. And if you have a look here in the bowl, you can see the yeast is nice and foamy. That means it's activated. I put a cup of warm water, a tablespoon of yeast, and a little bit of sugar in here, and off it went, foamed up beautifully. Into the bowl it goes. Now I'll also add some oil. I'm just using some vegetable oil here, about a tablespoon of that. And also to give it some extra lift, about a teaspoon of baking powder. Grab the lid like this and pop it on and lock it into place. And then all we need to do is go down to our baking function and we can see we've got brioche dough. So all I need to do is press OK there and it gets to the function. So it will mix all the ingredients together till we get a dough and knead them. And all you need to do is press start. There you go, it tells you when it's ready. Now when I take the lid off, I'll show you the dough. It's a little bit sticky, but it's been mixed together beautifully and kneaded. I just go around and pick off the little bits together. And look at that. Now at this stage here, we have to let the dough prove so that yeast will double in size. I'll just pop the dough ball straight back on top there like that, and then close the lid and over to the expert function. That's my favorite function. Now what we want to do is we want to prove the dough. So we go down here to 0. The blade will stay in place and let the dough rise really gently. Scoot across here to the temperature, 35 degrees Celsius, a nice gentle temperature for the dough to prove. Okay, we press it up to 30 minutes and that'll give me the perfect amount of time to start my pork filling. Now I've got my pan on and it's nice and hot. And to my pan, I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Onions, about half an onion there, a good big knob of ginger and a couple of cloves of garlic roughly chopped into the pan, and you can hear they're sizzling already. Some salt, a good pinch of salt and a good twist of black pepper. Now stir that round for just a second or so, and already they're smelling fantastic. Now while this is sweating down, I've got some shiitake mushrooms that are sliced really, really thin. I'll stir that round for a minute or so, and already you can see those mushrooms starting to soften up. Now here is one of my favorite things. This is where this whole dish gets its name from. This is char siu pork, or barbecue pork, nice and sweet and plenty of pork flavour. Into the pan that goes as well. Now while this is searing off, and it won't take long, I'm going to get these spring onions, or scallion onions they often call them, and slice them nice and thin. These onions will give it a really nice fresh crunch. The only bit I take off are the outer leaves that are a little bit scruffy, and the roots as well. So in this goes, and I'll just gently stir this around for another minute or so, and then I'll start adding some sauces. You can see the spring onions have sweated down beautifully. They're nice and soft, but still nice and green. In goes some hoisin sauce, about 2 tablespoons of that. These are the ingredients I like to add. Some sesame oil, just a few drops of that because it's quite strong. A little bit of black vinegar, that'll give it some tartness, which I really, really like. And some soy sauce, a good couple of tablespoons of soy sauce. But to thicken it all up, I've got some corn flour with some water, and I just mix that around a little bit here. I'm going to add this into the pan just a little bit at a time to get it all mixed together beautifully. Now just stir that around for a second or so till it comes together, and you can see it's nice and thick. Now all I need to do is grab my little pan over here, bring it in, and then pour my barbecue pork mixture into the pan. Turn the gas off and then flatten it down. Now this will take about 20 minutes or so to cool down. I'll clean this up and I reckon my dough will be ready to go by the time this is nice and cool. Ready to go. When I take the lid off, you can see that the dough has proved. it's more than doubled in size, and that's what you're looking for. Now, the trick with this is to dust your bench with a bit of flour. You can see it's going to be a little bit sticky at this stage here, but if you grab it like this and dust your hand with a bit of flour, you can pull all of the dough out of it. If I wanted to, I could unscrew the bottom and every single bit of dough comes out of there easily, but I'm not going to muck around too much. I want to get into this dough and get it rolled out. A little dust with flour like that, and then all we're going to do is just roll it into a log so it's nice and smooth all the way along, and then we're going to cut it. You can see it's quite elastic. You should let it rest for a little bit, but we're not going to muck around with that. We're going to get into this really quickly. Now, I'm going to cut it into about 8 pieces, which I think will be about the perfect size. And once you've got them, line them all up and you can see that they're nice and soft and delicate. Dust it with a bit of flour to stop it from sticking to anything. Now here's the fun bit. I'll take this little ball like this and I want to make it nice and round, or as round as I can get. When I put this together, I want the inside of it to be nice and thick and the outside to be nice and thin. So roll it around so it's thin around the edges and thick on the center here. Once you've got it nice and round, just pick it up with your hand, dust off any excess flour, and then grab a spoon. We're going to put a generous amount of the filling into the center there, about 1.5 spoons. Now this is the technique to put it together. You just fold it around and around, and then when you get to the top of it, you get it all the way around like this. You'll have those little pleats that are folded around like that, and when you get to the top of it, you just twist it around a little bit. Have a look at that. Nice little lines all the way around it, sealed at the top, and a nice, soft, fluffy dough. I've got this made. I just need to make the rest of them. Okay, I've got my buns all rolled out and it's time to steam them. I'm going to use the Cook Expert to steam these buns, and it's really, really easy to do. Pour your water into the top here, and it's got a little mark there to tell you, and grab your XXL steamer because it's so big it'll hold anything. Lock it into place. Then I take the lid off, tear a piece of baking paper because we want to make sure that the little buns don't stick, and then put your buns in there. Now I'm going to give them a little bit of room to expand so they don't bump into each other. So I'll move these around and I reckon I'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buns in here easily. Now it's just a matter of popping the lid on top like that and making sure it's sealed, and then going around to the front. Selecting the cooking function. Okay, we want to steam, and we just press on and off it goes. It's induction heating, so it'll happen fast. I just look through the top here and I can watch them cook. They'll smell delicious as well. A nice little alarm to tell you when they're ready. Oh, have a look at that. They look great. I like my buns nice and big, so these are perfect. Oh, out it comes. Look at that. Nice and big and fluffy and soft. That's what you want in a steamed bun. Now this is quite hot, but I'm just going to break it open so you can see the goodness on the inside. Now, to eat them properly, I like to have a little bit of soy sauce and some black vinegar, some coriander and some spring onions, and you just dip it in like that. That's really good. And it's amazing how soft and fluffy that little bun is. All made in my Magimix Cook Expert. Very easy, isn't it?